Secrets of Vatican. Beneath the hallowed marble halls and echoing basilicas of Vatican City, where the scent of frankincense lingers like a prayer unanswered, there is a secret. One older than any scripture, one whispered in shadows long before Peter laid the first stone. They say it began with the weeping fresco in the Sistine Chapel. Tears, real warm and red, streamed down the painted face of a cherub one storm-lashed night in 1893. The guards swore they heard whispering behind the altar, and a shadow, impossibly tall and crowned with horns made of bone, passed by the stained glass without breaking it. The whispers never stopped after that. By the time the third pope, after Leo XIII, vanished without explanation, the church sealed the archives. No one outside the Sanctum Obscura, a secret order of demonologists hidden beneath the Vatican library, was allowed to speak of Malthus, the ancient demon bound in chains beneath St. Peter's tomb. He was not a demon of fire or rage. Malthus was the architect of doubt, the one who built thoughts in men's minds, who made faith flicker like a candle in the wind. He fed not on souls, but on silence, on secrets, and the Vatican was the richest feast of all. It is said that every 33 years, Malthus stirs, and when he does, the veil thins. Statues turn their heads, prayers come back in other tongues. The dead walk, but only within the walls. In 2022, when the Swiss Guard found a tunnel beneath the necropolis that no one remembered building, the whispering returned. Devices malfunctioned. Nuns screamed of visions, an altar of black glass, a mirror in which God's reflection twisted and bled. The Vatican had no choice but to call Father Aurelio Venti, the last living member of the Sanctum Obscura. He was a man cloaked not only in cloth, but in tragedy. A priest who had once exorcised an entire village, only to return broken, eyes hollow with things he never spoke of. He had walked in hell, they said, and returned with a map burned onto his spine. He came alone, armed with only a silver rosary and a book with no title, bound in skin and sealed with wax. His presence alone silenced the bells for the first time in 500 years. The investigation lasted 9 days. On the 10th, the basilica went dark. They found Father Venti at the altar, hands bound in prayer, eyes wide open. His mouth had been sewn shut, yet blood poured from the ears of everyone who stood near. The last page of his book was torn out. Etched into the stone beside him, in Latin, were the words, "He who builds the throne of doubt now sits upon it. The Vatican holds no God, only the echo of one." Since that day, the Pope refuses to enter the basilica. The walls still bleed behind the tapestries, and some say if you listen closely inside the Vatican library, you can still hear the scratching of something trying to write its name into history. But no one speaks of it, because the greatest power of the Church was never its faith, it was its silence.